Hello students, welcome back to CLARI Concepts, Unleashing Conceptual Learning. For more lectures on engineering concepts, you can log into our website clariconcepts.com. So, as we have studied earlier also, if I talk about notches and weir, we have seen that they are used to calculate the flow rate of the water flowing through the big water bodies like canals and rivers, right? If you want to measure the flow rate of this kind of fluid flow, where water is flowing through canals and river, you can use the notches and weirs. And we have also seen that what is basically notch and weir. The notch is something which is of relatively smaller size, and that is used in the side of tank to measure the flow rate for the small bodies. And we have seen weirs to be of relatively larger size, made up of very concrete structure, and it is used to measure the flow rate of the water flowing through canals and rivers, the big water bodies, right? But the fundamental principle of both of them remains the same. Now, we have seen that the types of notches, these are of three different categories depending on the shape of the fluid that that has in that channel. So one is rectangular notch, one is triangular notch, and another is trapezoidal notch. So if I show you, if you can see from the front view, you can see that when you have a rectangular notch, it is of this kind of shape where the water takes the shape of rectangular section. This is water coming out of this notch, right? Similarly, when you have triangular notch or V notch, the water takes the shape of the triangle. And when you have the trapezoidal notch, the water takes the shape of the trapezium. You can see trapezium. So we will see how do we calculate flow rate using all these three types of notches one by one. And today in this lecture, we are going to look at the first type of notch, which is the rectangular notch and weir. So rectangular notch basically looks like this. So let us say I have the open water bodies, let's say canal where water is flowing from left to right, and I have the notch. This is my notch, what you see notch. What do I do with the notch? It is of particular shape, and I restrict my water to flow through sideways, and I allow my water to flow through a concentrated through a concentrated passage, right? So you can see this is a rectangular concentrated passages through which water is coming out. So if I look at it from this side, I will see the water flowing like this, and this is, if you want to imagine, you can imagine water coming out through the board, right? Okay, now if you look at this section, let us say that the height from where water is flowing is capital H. Capital H is the height from bottom of the notch till the top of the notch. So this is the height through which water is flowing. Now let me tell you one thing. Do you think there is any relation between the height and the flow rate? Let's say for example, water was flowing through this height H, and suddenly the flow rate is reduced. Flow rate is reduced in the canal or the river. What will happen to this height? This height will get reduced. And let's say flow rate is increased. What will happen? The height will increase because more water has to discharge in 1 second. That means the value of Q is somewhere in proportional to H, or rather you can say Q is some function of capital H. Now what is this function all about? By measuring the height, you can easily calculate the flow rate. Now question is, what is this function? So today in this lecture, we are going to derive that particular formula, that particular function on which flow rate is dependent on height. So by just measuring the vertical height or the depth of water flowing through the rectangular channel, we can easily measure the flow rate. So let us understand how to derive the formula. Say for example, this is the top surface of the water, and I will use the z-axis in the bottom, let's say positive in towards downward direction, and let us say that I have the small elemental strip. I take small elemental strip of, let's say, thickness dz, an imaginary elemental strip of thickness dz, and then the length of the strip is, let's say, capital L meters. Now what I will do is I want to calculate the total amount of water coming out of this section in 1 second. So firstly, I will try to calculate what is the water coming out of this small elemental strip from every second, right? So let us say that dq is the amount of water coming out of this small elemental strip every second. So what is flow rate? Flow rate can be seen as velocity into area dA. Now let us suppose u is the velocity of water when it is flowing through this particular strip. So perpendicular to the board, you will have velocity component u, right? And the area is this small area, elemental area dA. So I can say dA will be nothing but it is length into dz, L into dz. So I'll put L into dz for u. Now what is u? Now see, velocity of water from this section will be dependent on the availability of water head above it. So this is, let's say, z meters from the top surface. So I hope you are aware that when you have z meters of head available and you want to find the velocity, velocity will be what? Under root 2gh or under root 2gz. So more the z available, more is the velocity, right? So if a strip was over here, the velocity would have been higher. Okay, now this is your velocity. What is dA? dA is your L into dz. So if you are not aware about how do I came up with this under root 2gh, I request you to look at my lecture on Bernoulli's equation and look at one of the numerical where we have solved this, right? Okay, now this is your dq, amount of water coming out through this strip. Now if I ask you, I want total flow rate. So what I will do, I will integrate this dq, integrating dq, where q is total flow rate, integrating dq from 0 to h, from z equal to 0 to z equal to h, right? Entirely. So what will happen? 0 to h under root 2gz L dz. Now from these variables, what all the variables are constant and they are not varying with respect to z, you can take those variables outside. So I will say under root 2g is not varying with z, L is not varying with z, and then remaining portion is 0 to h under root z dz. Now which means what? Under root z is z raised to 1 by 2, and if you want to integrate that, you will end up with z raised to 1 by 2 plus 1, that is 3 by 2 upon 3 by 2, and then you put the limit from 0 to h, if you are aware, right? So this 3 by 2, so if I just take it to the right hand side, q will be equals to, what is 3 by 2? Denominator of denominator will be numerator, so this will become 2 by 3 under root 2g and L, which is as it is. Now z, I will put the limits. So this is upper limit is h raised to 3 by 2, lower limit is 0 raised to 3 by 2, and you will end up with the equation called q equals to 2 by 3 under root 2g L h raised to 3 by 2. Now my question is, let us understand each of this parameter one by one. 2 by 3 you know, 2g, g is 9.81, you very easily know that. L is the geometric parameter of notch, which is the length of the notch, right? And h is the height of the water from the bottom of the notch, from where the water is flowing. So height of the free surface of water from the bottom. Clear? That is h. Now what do you think? Whatever value you will get. So in this equation, everything will be known to you. Even before installing the notch, you will be aware about the length. You know 2g, you know 2 by 3. Only point is, if you measure the height, you can easily measure the flow rate. In many canals, you might have seen the vertical scale provided in yellow color, how much feet the water is flowing, and that basically is used to calculate the flow rate only, right? So let us say I ask you, whatever value of flow rate you get from this equation, do you think this will be the actual flow rate, or this will be the realistic value? I would say not at first glance. Why? Because this formula is derived based on the theoretical assumptions where you have used the Bernoulli's equation. You see, when I said u equals to under root 2gz, that means this is derived from Bernoulli's theorem, and Bernoulli's theorem itself has some assumptions like your water is, your flow is steady, it is incompressible, it is inviscid. So in reality, the flow may not be like that. So there will always be deviation of the actual flow rate value and the flow rate that you get from here. So this value, when you use the formula, we will talk this to be the theoretical value. But what if you want the actual flow rate? I have an idea for you. You have to simply multiply by a factor called CD, which is coefficient of discharge, with the theoretical value of flow rate to get the actual flow rate. Now you should ask me the question, sir, from where will you get this CD from? This CD basically is provided by the manufacturer, and there is a dedicated set of experiment that is taken place that is conducted by the manufacturer of this notch, whereby they try to find out actual flow rate also and theoretical flow rate also, and they take this ratio, actual by theoretical, to get the CD. And then when they give when they provide the notch to you, they will give CD also to you, right? So designer basically find the value of CD. So the Q actual will be equals to finally CD into this 2 by 3 under root 2g into L into h raised to 3 by 2. This is the final formula using which you can find out the flow rate of the water flowing through a rectangular notch or weir. Clear? So thank you so much. In the next lecture we will see the numericals, where you are going to talk about how to use the formula and measure the flow rate of the water flowing through the big water bodies using rectangular notch and rectangular weir. Thank you so much.